Hello, everyone, and welcome. We're going to be doing something a little bit different today. We are going to be talking about the Ritter letters for the Vondenreich and the Thousand Year Blood War Bleach. If you recall, I had a whole thing where I was trying to guess the Espada numbers back in the Arankar arc, and it became this whole game where I did a couple of videos about it, and then I talked about it throughout. My wife even made her guesses, and I updated my list as I went. Did I update? I don't think I updated. I think it just kind of kept track of how many I got right and how many I got wrong. I ended up losing that game pretty badly because I think I only got one number for the Espada right when I was guessing. I think it was Zamari. Yeah, it was definitely Zamari. Yeah, so I'm not great at doing this type of thing, but it was fun to do. So I thought we'd do the same kind of thing for the villains in the Thousand Year Blood War with the Vondenreich, since the Sternritters apparently are designated letters, and these letters seem to be a bit more important than the numbers were to the Espada. The numbers for the Espada dictated how strong or how much spiritual energy they had, correct? Because Stark ended up being the most powerful. My boy King Barakin was number 2. Yami apparently was secretly the most powerful, but you know how I feel about that, probably. Yeah, but with the Sternritter, the letters seem to be part of their extra abilities. Each of them are given, I think it was called in the latest episode, a Schrift? Schrift? Schrift. Pretty sure it was Schrift. That Yuabaha gives to the Sternritters. That either he gives them the letter, and the letter has a specific power, or the letter has to do with their personality and that manifests a power. I'm not sure. We know a few of them so far. I wrote them down, the ones that we know. I'm pretty sure these are the ones we know. Here's my whiteboard, my beautiful whiteboard that I'm going to hold on to throughout the rest of the arc, I think, at least until we fill it out. Yeah, so we know Fear, because Fear was, it's pretty reflective. Fear was, as not my boy, and he was very much into fear and making people afraid, and it was kind of just, and his power would manifest by spikes that would make people scream, and he could make people see things that were horrifying, like Scarecrow and Batman. We had Jail, which was our boy Keelgay, who could trap people indefinitely unless they were part Quincy, and then they could get out. So he had a very specific power, but as you can see, the powers correspond with the first letter of a word, and the word has to do with their abilities and seemingly their personalities, and at least for Asnot and Mr. Overkill, who was, I have my list of Sternritter here, hopefully this is correct. He was Driscoll, who had Overkill, and his ability, what was it, he could make, he got stronger as things, the more he did things, the stronger he got, which the more he fought, the stronger he got, the more he killed, the stronger he got. It was Overkill. He was just, it was the most victims he had, he would get stronger. It was pretty crazy. And his personality, he was like saying things a lot to the point of like Overkill, so I think it's related to personality kind of just as much. So I'm not sure if they get that power and then that just kind of naturally becomes part of their personality, or if their personality dictates the power. I'm not sure yet, but we also had the Question for Q, who was Berenice, who was one that, one of the three, just like Lloyd? And who was the other one? Jerome. Those were the three that Kenpachi killed. And the Question he was like asking Kenpachi a question or making him ask a question, but then Kenpachi ripped his throat out. What it had to do with him asking something, speaking, and then he got killed real quick before we could see much. The Roar, same diff. He was like roaring, and that was his power, was like powerful roars. The Yourself was both Lloyd and Lloyd's power. They shared this letter, which is interesting, and we'll talk about that in a sec. They could shapeshift and take on the abilities, memories, appearance of a person. Was it the memories? Pretty sure. maybe not. Maybe it wasn't memories, but they definitely the abilities and the appearance at least. But it had limitations clearly. So yeah, I think those are all the ones that have been completely spelled out for us. Other of them, which we'll go through, we know they're letters, but we don't know what the letters mean. I'm pretty sure this is accurate. If not, we'll figure it out. As I said, this is going to be like a long-term thing. This is just the introduction to this game we're going to play for the rest of the arc. I was told I needed to do this now, because it seems the way the last episode and chapter ended, we're probably about to get another battle in the war, where I'll probably see some of these get expanded upon. So if I wanted to guess, I was told now was the time. So that's why we're here, to go through the ABCs of the Vondenreich. And we have some interesting ones right off the bat. For the ones that we don't know so far, maybe I'll just take guesses, and I'll put a question mark. But the ones that aren't assigned to anyone. But the ones that we do know, the Sternritters, I'm going to try to use what I know about the Sternritters to help me guess. I don't expect any of these to be right, to be perfectly honest, because with numbers, I had a decent shot of just randomly assigning a number, you know? I had an okay shot. It was like, what, 1 in 10? Well, I mean, the combinations, there was plenty, but with these, there are a hell of a lot more words than there are 10 numbers. So it could be anything, really. But we're going to try our best, see if it works. It's just going to be fun, hopefully, for you guys and for me. So let's do this. We're going to start with the letter A, and I had a few guesses about A because we learned that Yuabaha has the letter A for his Schrift, and he's also apparently giving it to his successor as of the last reading we did with Uryu. And I'm not sure if that means they're going to share the same ability. I assume so, kind of like the Yourself did, but maybe it is a separate A word. But I'm just going to guess as if it's, the one. And I had I think 3 guesses I was thinking of. The first one that sprang to mind was the Almighty, because he's like worshipped as a god. So it could be the Almighty, but I was also thinking of the Awakened, because he was like sleeping. We don't really know the specifics, but he was like the slumbering Quincy King. So the Awakened, maybe it can do something with that. And I had another one. What was the other one? Oh, it was in, I think, the episode reaction. I had thought of it the night before. I'm gonna go with the Awakened. The Awakened Quincy King. I just feel like it makes sense, and Uryu's kind of, becoming awakened to like his true heritage. I just feel like thematically it kind of makes sense. Power-wise, it could be unlocking like dormant abilities within you, or maybe within other people, and that's how he's able to give these Schrifts, is he's awakening something within his followers. That's an idea. I'm going with Awakened. I think the Authority could make sense because he has just like absolute power. The Almighty would make sense because he's like a god to the Quincy's. He like created them, but he also could have awakened abilities when he created the Quincy's by awakening something within people. I'm going with the Awakened. My final guess for Yuabaha and Uryu, I think. The Awakened feels right. Now for B, we have Lucius Malfoy himself. We just learned his full name. Hugo Haschwald. So Haschwald is the right-hand man. Seemed like he was supposed to be the successor of the Vondenreich. Is not going to be the successor, apparently. He gives me, like, oh god, what's his name? Zex from Gundam Wing, which in turn makes me think of Char from Classic Gundam. He's got the blonde guy in a position of power that wants maybe to be in a higher position of power. He's got those vibes, just without a mask. They have those helmets, but he gives me those vibes. Zex without his mask, if you've seen Gundam Wing. So he's B. We know he's B. So I was told these don't... The order of letters doesn't matter for the power levels. Like, just because... Like, I guess the Yourself was pretty weak, though, but he could be strong if he imitated a strong person. But I was told that the person who's like Z isn't necessarily weaker than the person that's D. It's not really about that. It's mostly about the abilities. So It's just kind of funny that A is the leader and B is the second in command, but maybe that doesn't necessarily mean that Hashvolt is like super strong. You know, maybe his ability is something else. I don't know. Sorry, I just had to adjust the light a little bit. Um, Doing this later in the day than I thought, and the sun is setting, so we're racing against the clock unless I turned on the light. Anyway, Hashvolt. My guess is, because all we've really seen from Hashvolt is when he turned and immediately destroyed Ichigo's Bankai, like nothing. So I'm going with the Broken. I think Hashvolt is the Broken, which could be a cool power. He could like destroy things on impact, you know, immediately destroyed that Bankai. The Broken, which could also be personality wise, maybe he went home and he was kind of like depressed. He could have this tragic backstory and he's like broken, and maybe he thought becoming leader of the Vondenreich would fix him, but he's not, and he really is a shell. I love things where it's like, oh, this is one of the higher ups, a guy in a high position of authority, and he turns out to just be like secretly nuts, and he's just barely holding himself together, you know. Like, I'm thinking Zant from Zelda Twilight Princess seemed spooky and scary and authoritative. Turned out he was a nut job. So he cracked. And maybe I could see Hashvolt cracking. I think that could be fun. Different type of character. Yeah, that's what I'm hoping for. So the Broken maybe applies to him. I don't see that we have a C yet. We might. Like I said, maybe my notes aren't perfect. But yeah, we don't have a C. There are a few Vondenreich Sternritters that we've seen, especially in the anime. Last episode showed me 2 or 3 of them that we don't know their names or their designated letters. We haven't really gotten much focus on them. In the manga, they weren't even there. It was in the assembly scene. Up on the stage were, I think, 4 people with Yuabaha. One of them was Hashvolt. There was a guy that looked like Thor from Marvel. He was tall with like a winged helmet, but it was like a Jane Foster Thor helmet. It was like a mask too. He also kind of looked like Sex from Gundam Wing, but like jacked. And there was someone with a hood. They looked like there was like a hood, and they were smaller, kind of like a Jawa from Star Wars. And then I think there was another person on that stage before you got brought on, so they could be C. So I'm not going to take a guess at C, because I just feel like I got nothing to go off of. I could just throw out a word, but I'm going to wait and see about C. Let's see. D. D was that guy, Askin Naklavar. And Naklavar is just a fun name to say. We just met him, but he did get in between Hashvolt and Baz B. Yeah, I always want to call him Buzz B. He did get between the two of them, and he like created like a black hole or like a portal. There was like a rift he made. So D, what could it be D that could have to do with like a black hole? We don't really know what that was gonna do, but there was like a circular rift. The I must say the doorway. I'm gonna say the doorway. You know, because he's kind of opening up potentially a portal somewhere else. It reminds me of Gateway from X-Men comics. I'm gonna say the doorway. That's probably not right. That's what I could think of. I'm trying to think. It's either a black hole or it's like a portal. I feel like it could be a portal. If it's a black hole, the darkness. That's kind of badass. Naklavar, the darkness, is more bad. The darkness, the doorway. I'm gonna say the darkness. Actually, I know I just felt like I had something, but now I'm leaning more towards the darkness, and it just sounds too badass. So, Askin Naklavar, the darkness. That's where we're going. We got this is it so far of my guesses. Oh boy, this is tough. Just so many options. Do we have an E? We do have an E. Oh god. This is Bambietta Basterbine. And she scares me. She seems like a serial killer. She's also mean to dogs, to dog people. That was kind of mean of me to call him a dog, but you know what I mean. She was very mean to my boy. And I don't like that she was so harsh on him. That kind of made me not like her very much. And then she just kind of scared me when we saw her again. But yeah, her talking like that to Komamura wasn't a great first impression. And then during the meeting, she was pissed off, so she asked the guy to come to her bedroom. And he was all like, oh, okay, like, he's maybe thinking he's lucky. Maybe he got lucky, we don't know. But whatever the case, whether they went through with it or not, in the anime it kind of implied that maybe at least a little bit, because she like unzipped her shirt and unzipped it back up. But he got taken to her bedroom, and then either something happened or didn't, and then Bambietta cut him in half and killed him immediately. And they were like, why do you always take hot guys and kill them? So she's like a serial killer, and she apparently likes to seduce men and then kill them. Like, if any of you have seen Onatop in the classic James Bond movie GoldenEye, she's giving those vibes. So what could be E? E, then it could relate to her seduction and killing. I mean, my brain's going to like the erotica, the ecstasy. I'm gonna say the enticement, maybe, because she like, I don't know, it's tough to say. I feel like it's gotta have to do with her seducing those guys, but maybe that's just a weird character trait. But if it reflects her ability and her letter, I'm gonna say the enticement. The enticement. Because she's enticing men into her bed and then murdering them. As one does. As one does. Okay, so we got the fear we know is Asnod. He's all about fear. Do we have a G? Do I got a G? I do not. I don't think. We don't know a G yet. How about an H? We do have an H. Which is Baz B, who to me is like the Grimjow of the Sternritters. But we haven't seen him actually fight much. At all. Like, we've seen him get angry, but we haven't actually really seen him in combat. So it's tough. These are the tough ones to say. These are going to be more just throwing something out there, you know? H. Hostile. I'm going to say he's hostile. Because he seems very hostile. And maybe he's, like, super strong, and his powers are fueled by his aggression, his anger. Because he's the one, he's got, like, a short fuse. He's, like, ready to go charge up to Yuabaha and be like, what the hell? Why is this nobody gonna lead us? So I'm going with the hostile. I. Do we got an I? We do. Kang do. We Kang do. What was he doing? So he stole Hitsugaya's Bankai. And he was fighting with like a claw, like a Freddy Krueger. No, not like Freddy Krueger, like Vega. I've compared him to Vega before from Street Fighter with like, he's got like these like claw gauntlets. I. There's not that many words with I. Everything I'm thinking of is like the impossible, the insurmountable, which is like also vague. Like, it's got to be something more specific, I would imagine. What are good I words? Invisible, the invisible. That could be cool if he had like invisibility powers and he like shanks people. He's like sneaky. I got not much to go off of. We're going with invisible. Invisible. Yeah, that's what we're going to go with. And for J, we have Jail with Kyogre, which we know. Do we have a K? Give me a K. Yeah, we do. BG9, who might be a robot. He might be Sha Long turned into a cyborg. He might be just some guy, I don't know. But we have seen him sort of fight. He had like wire tendrils popping out of his cloak while he was fighting Soy Fawn. So for K, it's a good K word. Are there any K words having to do with robotics? The King Killer. If you see a lot of cuts in between these, it's because I'm thinking for too long and I don't want you guys sitting here. Just watch me just. Because I'm just sitting here trying to think of words. Anyway, the knife? No, I feel like a knife. I can start with a K. The knowing. The knowing. The knot. The knot. It's got all these like ropes. We're gonna go with that. The knot. The knot. Oh, used a different color. Not bad. Yeah, we're gonna go with the knot. Could be the knight. Like K, because he kind of looks like a knight. Oof. I'm gonna stick with the knot. But the knight would be pretty cool as well. I don't know. Is there anything to do with like Sha Long revival? Is there a K word having to do with coming back? I don't know. I don't know. It's a tough one. Do we have an L? Give me an L. We do not have an L so far. Do we have an M? Apparently not. What's my girl? Wait a minute. I'm missing some people. What were, excuse me for a moment. Oh, I'm ashamed of myself. I forgot about my girls. That just got added. What's who? Candace Catnip. Where are you? I know you're in here somewhere. Candace! Okay. Guys, I've discovered 4 letters. I'm sorry about this. I've completely lied to you. We do have a G. Oh, thankfully we haven't reached the other ones. We only missed G so far. That's not bad. G is Lil Toto Lampere. Lampere? I can't read my own writing sometimes. Lil Toto. Lil Toto. She's G. Which one was Lil Toto? Where's the manga? Oh my goodness, guys. I'm a mess today. Actually, I'm a mess. Where is it? I found it. Let's see. Excuse me for one moment. Here we go. Okay, this will actually help remind me. I thought I got everyone, but I forgot about that group. Okay, I found them. Our girls. We forgot them. Okay, Lil Toto was the little one. Lil Toto was Lil. Lil Toto Lampert. Okay. So she looks childlike, and she's G. The gamer, the goodness, the game, what does she seem like? I'm gonna say she looks like a child, so maybe it is like a game thing. I'm gonna say the game. That's my guess for G. Excellent. Okay, so we also had P, Z, and T. Have I said that Baz B totally should have just been B? For the sake of... I just saw also Giselle Guel should be G for this. And Candace Catnip should be C. We could have simplified this a little, Kubo, for my own mental sanity. Okay, so just to take note of those people. Meninas McCallan. She was the one that fought Rukia, right? We only saw her briefly in the anime during the battle, right? I don't think we actually saw her during the invasion, except for in the anime. Okay, so knowing that, let's continue. Do we have an L though? No, we still don't have an L or an M. I don't think we'd have an N either, but there are missing Quincy. I'm thinking there's the weird guy that has the staff with the eyeball that seem to be mentally controlling people. I'm gonna take, at the end of this, I think I'm just gonna throw out some guesses. We also have Commissioner Gordon. He could be the law. Because he's the commish. I'm gonna just write that down. I like that. I'm gonna say Commissioner Gordon guy who shot Shunsui is the law. But it could have to do with guns. Like he could be, do we have a P? He could be like the P. Oh, we do have a P. Never mind. Yeah, I'm just gonna throw that out there. Commissioner Gordon's the law. I'll look at the end who we don't. What letters are still open? Because I'm gonna take a few random more guesses. But I like that. He's the law. M. We don't have N. We also don't have O. Overkill. Sorry, I should be holding this up more. This is what we got so far. We're down to P. And there is a P. It is McAllen. What was her first name? Meninas McAllen is P. We don't really know much about her. How did she beat? We didn't really see how she knocked out Rukia. What's P? Good P words. The power would be like obvious if she was super strong. The punch. The pistols. The philosophy, it could be something a little more. The puddle. The pirate. Like, all we really have seen her do is she knocked out Rukia when Rukia got distracted. I'm gonna say the precision. I feel like that could be, and sometimes that's used in like different shows and comics, like someone who's super precise. So I'm gonna say the precision. Like knows when to do something, where to do something, just has like a sense of doing something at the exact right time, place, and just, that's my guess. I think P is the precision. Then we had the question, the roar, that was easy. The S, I'm pretty sure we have an S. We definitely have a T. S was masked demasculine. I think that one's pretty straightforward, right? If I had to take a guess what a luchador with a bow tie enjoys, he's obviously the strength, right? The strength. He's the heavy. Someone with the strength. And then T, I just saw as I was flipping through, is my girl Candace Catnip, who we also don't know much about, except she's apparently kind of considered a bit of a lady that likes a lot of men, or maybe a lot of women, by her teammates. So I could say T the Tramp. I'm not going to do that to her. Not Candace Catnip. But that kind of does have to do with cats, right? Lady and the Tramp was about dogs. I'm just throwing stuff out there. If you haven't noticed, I'm just guessing. Candace Catnip. What's her vibe? It's very green. There's a lot of T words. So many words. If I'm telling you, if any of these are correct, any of them, guys, I don't even know. I mean, some of them. Obviously, the ones that we know are correct. You know what I mean. T. You know, maybe she's super strong. And they're all military-ish, right? They've all got a military vibe. Maybe she's the tank. Maybe she's secretly, like, super powerful. And, like, or she can, like, make explosions. I'm going with the tank. Could be, like... Oh, actually, no. Maybe I'm focusing too much on her name, but Candace Catnip. The tiger. I think I thought about that already, but it just came back to me. The tiger. Candace Catnip. She'll fight Grimjow when he comes. When he comes to help, and we get that team up I keep wanting. It's going to be the Panther versus the Tiger. That's my guess. You can see how indecisive my brain works sometimes. I bounce from thought to thought and hope for the best. I swear to God, if it was the tank and I was right, oh, the U. We had a U, didn't we? We had a U. Na 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 na. Alright, na 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 Najaku. Okay, he didn't like art. That's what I remember about him. He didn't appreciate art. There's a lot of good U words. The underworld, the unstoppable, the underground, the unbent, the unbroken. R.I.P. if you know what I mean. It's not the useful. I doubt it. The utility, his appearance, he's got like goggles and like weird teeth, right? Weird hair. What's that tell me? If something better comes to mind, underground is what I'm going to go with. And if we don't learn the specific one, but we see them more in action, in the middle of my read-along, I'm going to have this out, and I'm going to change it to if I have a new thought of what it could be. Just FYI, this is just a rough draft, potentially. We're going to fill it in as we learn the real ones, and it'll be sad when I'm wrong, which will be every single one. Yeah, the underground. V, do we got a V? Nope, we don't have a V. I'm not even going to try to guess that one yet. W, do we got a W? I don't think so. No, we don't have an X yet either. That one, though, I've talked about, I'm most excited by. Not only because I'm a massive X-Men fan, but it's also a fun letter. It's a cool letter. And there's very few words that it could be. You know? It could be the xylophone. It could be the X-ray. It could be... What other X words? None are even coming to mind. So, yeah. Unless it's like a very, like, it's a stretch. Like, it's the extreme. But with an X, because it's, one of those old school extreme spellings. Back in the 90s. Yeah, X will be interesting. I hope X is cool because I want that letter to have a cool person. And then the yourself we know was the shape-shifting twins, and Z is the final one, which we know is Giselle Goel, who's the dark-haired girl with the little hat, the tiny little hat that really made me laugh because I was like, "What the hell is that?" But it is a style. Z is an interesting one though. I joked it could be for Zorro. If you haven't seen The Mask of Zorro, starring Antonio Banderas, Anthony Hopkins, and Catherine Zeta-Jones, go watch that movie. It's like a near-perfect movie. Ignore the sequel. The first one's fantastic. Z, there's also not many words that could be that come to mind. The Zone. Could be the Zone. Could be the Zebra. Can you imagine? She's just like it's like a Zoan devil fruit. Zombie. Zeta. What are some Z words? Zilch. The Zone. But that's... I'm gonna say zombie. I feel like that could fit the vibe of Bleach. If she's like an undead zombie... Because we've had, we've had people that have, like, what were the Kenpachi chapters back in the day? Were called, like, the undead or something, weren't they? It was, like, someone that couldn't die, or couldn't be hurt, it seemed like. But what if she's, like, legit, like, her body just regenerates, or something. Or she can't die, or she's already dead. I think that could be fun. Or even, like, necromancer. That's what we're going. I love necromancers. We're putting it on you, girl. You're my zombie. Because I can't think of any other good Z words. Zone just feels. It could so easily be that she like creates like a, domain expansion. It's like, oh, Zone. Yeah, that'll. But for the supernatural, ghostly vibes of Bleach, I'm putting zombie. So that's my guesses. And we'll do a few final ones here. Who haven't I talked about The mind control guy. What's a good... The mind. I'm going to go with mind is M, but I'm going to use a different color because we haven't seen him. Mind. The Thor guy who was standing there, who I know nothing about. Do any of these, could they apply to Thor? The Norse. The, dang. The... Dang it, I was hoping there was like, you know, God or deity were still available. Or thunder. What could that guy be? The Chosen, the... just for the laugh, I'm gonna put Norse. I know that's not right. The Norse, just some random Norse god on our team. Then who else haven't I talked about? I talked about... Oh, I should put the law in a different color. It's funny that a lot of these are potentially in the same area of the alphabet. But so there's also left plenty of others. There was that short person with the hood. Maybe they're X. And it's just... I got nothing. Oh well. As I said, this is my guesses. Remember them well as you go through with me and notice how wrong I am about every single one of them. My apologies if this was really boring. I hope this was a little fun for you guys. I had fun. I know I'm wrong. But this was the guess. And this will be changing, I'm sure. If I got even one of these right, I hope so. Yeah, I hope so. I should mark which ones we know for sure, just so it doesn't look like I got something right. You know, I don't want to excite myself. I'll go with this color. And I'll underline the ones we already know for sure, just so I know that I'm not smarter than I am. There we go, okay. The ones with the underlines are on lock. We know what those are. Everything else are just guesses. And the ones with the question marks in the kind of lighter color, those are just complete guesses of characters that we don't know what their letters are yet. There we have it. I hope that was a good time. I had a good time. I'll see you all soon, and we'll see how we do on this. If you're watching the manga read-alongs on Patreon, I'll be getting a lot of use out of this, I'm sure. And I may do a video at the end when I know all the letters, where I talk about an update, just like I did with the Espada number, and we compare and contrast. And that'll probably be really embarrassing, but it'll be fun. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.